One of the funniest conversations that takes place within the Jujutsu Kaisen fandom is which characters are Gege's favorites. We all know the character that he actually hates, and that character is Gojo, which is understandable. As long as Gojo's within the story can't progress because he's probably one of the strongest characters of the verse. Let's not forget he wants to change the Jujutsu Kaisen society to benefit the sorcerers and allow a better future for the next generation without him being in it. When Gege sealed Gojo a long time ago during the Shibuya arc, he was making memes and jokes about Gojo being sealed and how he's happy that Gojo's no longer in the story. So we all know Gege is Gojo's biggest hater, and that's why Gojo didn't survive the final fight versus Sukuna. We all know he hates him. Ironically enough, Gojo is probably everyone's favorite character from the new gen of anime and manga. People were mourning this man's death. When Gojo died, I'm not gonna lie, when I seen that spoiler page, I couldn't believe it. I was heartbroken. I was at the gym, bro. I had to stop working out and take a deep breath. Like, they killed my dog, bro. Like, and everybody was mourning Gojo's death, even celebrities. That's how much of an impact his character had. So that being Gege's most hated character is actually funny. And I like to throw in, I actually believe he hates the main trio as well. If you weren't named Yuji, you didn't get much development. See, Megumi's character started to heat up during the Culling Games, especially after he got his first couple of kills. But then his character fell flat. He got taken over by Sukuna. Nobara was gone since the Shibuya arc, woke up randomly and used her ability to weaken Sukuna, which was something we all predicted, but when it actually happened, that shit pissed me off. Yuji got a lot of development, mainly because he was obviously the main character, and plus one of Gege's favorite character was within his body. That's what we're going to talk about today, Gege's favorite characters. But before we start the video, go ahead and smash that like and hype button so we can beat the algorithm. And if you've been enjoying the content, don't be scared, go ahead and subscribe. So we're going to start with the most obvious character that is Gege's favorite character, and his name is Toji. Look, I understand why Toji is his favorite character. When that man hit the scene, everybody in fitness Twitter, fitness social media period, wanted to have his body. Shit, his body goals was the reason why I started hitting the gym very hard. He really became my body goal. The moment I knew Toji was Gege's favorite character was when he drew Toji with a halo above his head and allowed him to go to heaven. Even when Gojo died, if you look in the background, Toji was there for some reason. And it was so funny because this man is supposed to be in hell, bro. He killed a teenage girl, Riko, for no apparent reason, and then abandoned his child just to kill other children for fun because he wanted to prove himself. And I'm not downplaying his mental trauma, what he experienced. I'm just talking about in the grand scheme of things. He did all of that and still made it to heaven. Like, you can't tell me nobody glazes Toji the way Gege does. Gege made sure Toji's character had such an impact in the story that when they went to go meet Lord Tegan basically said Toji was the man that destroyed their reality because he killed Riko and because he forced Geto to go insane and helped with the awakening of Gojo. Toji has changed everything. He's probably one of the most influential characters within the series, and it's all because Gege loves this man. Gege's second favorite character is no other than Sukuna. Sukuna is probably one of the most OP antagonist characters I've ever read in the series. I'm not saying he's the strongest outside of all verses. I'm just saying within the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, Gege made this man so OP that there was really nothing the main cast could do if Gojo didn't go first and nerf them. He fought everyone nerf. Think about every main villain's final battle. They're always fighting at their peak form. Muzan, Madara, Cell, Kid Buu, which is debatable because Super Buu is probably strong. But you get my point. Anytime a main villain hits the scenes, he always ends the series fighting in his strongest form, but that didn't happen for Sukuna. Sukuna had to be nerfed so that the main cast can even fight against him. Even during the final raid against Sukuna, you can tell there are certain events that took place which were just in Sukuna's favorite that didn't make sense. A lot of it was plot armor, and I'm not gonna lie. And I don't want to get into it for this video because I will be here all day. So I'm gonna skip over that. But a lot of people have pointed it out on TikTok and Twitter. The third character will be no other than Yuta Okosuke. Yuta is definitely Gege's favorite character. And it's obvious because he was the original MC of Jujutsu Kaisen. At the end of volume 0, the last volume, you see a passage. Gege talks about the serialization of Jujutsu Kaisen and his journey. See, volume 0 was supposed to be a one-shot manga and that was it. Because of its success, Shonen Jump convinced them to continue the story. Yuta was the original MC of the series, and that's why Gege continues to hype up Yuta throughout the series. At the end, we find out he's a distant cousin to Gojo. He's the second strongest when it comes to Gogo within the verse, even though we all know it's Sukuna, Gojo, Yuta, Kenny, and the 5th spot is up for grabs, bro, and you guys are not gonna argue with me on that one. I forgot about Kashimo. Kashimo can be interchangeable with Yuta if you hype up his mystical beast form, but I still don't think he can beat Yuta, and that's just my opinion. And let's not forget how Yuta's life ended up after the Sukuna raid. Yuta becomes the strongest sorcerer within the verse. He becomes the head of the Gojo clan, and let's not forget he marries Maki. Not gonna lie, that's the biggest win you could possibly have. A win is a win. And even the Jujutsu Kaisen spinoff, which is so boring, I'm not gonna lie, it's boring. It's based off of Yuta's and Maki's grandchildren. To see old man Yuta and Maki, man. And when Maki died, Yuta didn't have the strength to continue living on. He's just like me. Anyways, and that leads us to Gege's 4th favorite character, and it's no other than Maki Zenin. See, Maki Zenin is a very important character to Gege. She was his first heroine, and through that, he was able to give her more and more character development, even more character development than Nobara. Nobara died in the Shibuya arc, but after the Shibuya arc, Maki kept getting character development, especially when she first awakened as the new Toji. That whole situation with the clan trying to kill her to look good for the elders. We see her get to Toji's level. Then in the Culling game, she awakens even more and finally surpasses Toji, or on par with Toji, becoming a war demon, her own against Sukuna, not once, but in twice. First, when he took over Megumi's body, she intervened into that fight, and the second time when they were fighting his final nerf form. At the end of the series, she finally marries the man that she truly loves, which was always Yuta. That's why I didn't understand all the discourse. I guess he made one volume cover with Nobara and Maki, and that created a weird fandom. It's just like Sasuke and Naruto. After a while, you gotta question if these people are saying or not. It's like, bro, it's over. They're married, they had children, move on. It's not that deep. That's it for the video. Like I said, it's gonna be a short one. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I'm out.